These are the top 10 things I wish I knew in my 20s. So let's start with number 1. Date super attractive women so I can quickly realize that it's not going to fulfill me. In my early mid-20s, I was a geek. I played video games, didn't really have much social skills, and attracting a 10 felt nearly impossible. And my dream was to get extremely attractive women. I spent so much time thinking and dwelling on everything that I was missing out on. I had this illusion that these ultra attractive women were prizes, rewards, that when I finally get to be with a 10, she's going to be fully into me, we'd have a great connection, we'd work towards our goals, etc. Now, it did take time, but eventually I did develop the skills. It turns out that it wasn't what I wanted. I was naive in thinking these women wanted the same things as me. Typically, I discovered that we don't share the same interests, values, nor hobbies. I also don't want to wait hours for her to do makeup, get dressed, and maintain that appearance. I also don't care how these photos look on social media. I don't want to take cute pictures at the farmer's market. You get the idea. As time progressed, I started to look through the physical appearance and see the individual. The physical activity that was a major bonus wasn't as great anymore because I got used to it, my heart wasn't in it, and it wasn't worth how much time it required to maintain the relationship. I realized I wanted somebody that I could feel comfortable talking to, that I could spend hours discussing different ideas, that I could connect with, and she also was interested in my goals. Indirectly, I found that with this type of individual, the physical activity was actually way better due to this great connection. Now, of course, looks do play a factor, but I no longer waste my mental energy or time attempting to pursue the hottest girl. Number 2, be more deliberate. In the past, I'd be playing video games, I'd be going to the bars and hanging out with my friends, which is all fun. I wanted to reward myself on the weekend. But I failed to take into account how limited my life is and how long certain tasks take in order to progress. For example, if I want to build a business, have a better physique, etc., these all take major amounts of time. So if I want to improve, I should have dedicated more time to that. It requires long-term gratification, but I'd be in such a better spot. Before we get to point number 3, make sure to like and subscribe because a little known fact, every time you do, you make a puppy smile. Number 3, care less about what my friends and coworkers think. Focus on what I want to experience in this life. You see, I used to be an oddball at work. I was new and everybody at my IT job was talking about the latest tablets, phones, and the specs and comparing. Meanwhile, I was thinking about how to improve in social dancing. So as you can tell, big disconnect. It caused me to feel conflicted because I wanted to fit in, but I had zero interest in their discussions, and likewise, they didn't care about dancing. Eventually, I decided it's best to make myself be happy and pursue what I love versus trying to conform. As time passed, ironically, they started to admire how I was able to travel the world, how I could do that solo, make random new friends at these dance socials, etc. Number 4, don't think I'm this master genius that can figure out everything quickly. Seek out mentors in whatever category I want to improve in. Have you heard the expression, don't recreate the wheel? Exactly. I'm sure with enough time, I could figure out whatever I needed to. So if I wanted to be very financially successful, better than everybody else, be extremely good at video games, anything and everything, I could figure it out. But that's not the point. It's the amount of time that it requires in order to do that. And by being able to find a mentor, they can help me shortcut the process. And I should have sought them out much, much sooner. Now, I think the reason why I didn't is because I just didn't want to give up the money. How much it costs, I was thinking about that. I'm like, no, I'll figure it out. I can make this work. But in reality, money is just an exchange of value and resources. So for example, it took me years to get in Diamond League and StarCraft 2, and I shudder at how much time I could have saved if I just simply hired a mentor that would have gotten me there in a couple of months. $300 to save me years of my life, worth it. Now, this doesn't just apply to StarCraft 2, it applies to pretty much any category. Number 5, my parents love me, but they don't have all the answers. And I should only listen to them if I want to replicate what they have. Back during the housing market crash of 2009 in the US, my parents were so fearful. They never pulled the trigger on buying a home. And looking back, it was a prime time to do it. Great opportunity. It made me realize, well, if they have these blind spots, where else do they have blind spots that are impacting me? And if I ever decide to buy a home, would they disapprove? Would they be worried? Etc. Yet I don't want to be in the same financial situation as them. It's not horrible, but I want to be much, much better. And guess what? Because they love me and they want to see me succeed, they want me to do better as well. So sometimes that means that I may have to go against what they truly believe and their advice in order to achieve different results. But at the end of the day, I know they still love me and I have to do this for me and improve. Number 6, don't only save money and work hard, but also don't only spend money and travel. Have moderation. So in my early childhoods, all the way up until my early 20s, I grinded. I put in the work. So finally, when it became time to be an adult, I decided to enjoy some of the fruits of my labor. Looking back, I sometimes feel guilty that I spent a little too much time enjoying myself because certain financial opportunities and career upgrades did pass me by. At the same time, though, I know that if I were to be waiting until I'm vacationing in my 70s, it wouldn't be the same. I'd have less energy, I'd have less years to really reap the benefits of those life lessons and memories. So I would say having a better sense of moderation would have helped me. Enjoy dancing, travel, but also focus on grinding as well. Number 7, pick something that I wouldn't mind sacrificing years of my life trying to pursue, something that I think would provide value to others. Now, many of us suffer from analysis paralysis. We don't know what to do, we don't see the full picture, so we decide to do nothing. But by not making any progress, not trying anything, that actually turns out to be the worst thing that we can do. Other times, people think that, oh, the grass is always greener on the other side. So they're constantly changing directions, but they're never stacking and building on what they learned. So going back, I would have picked a skill that I somewhat enjoy, provide value to others, and just do it for a couple of years, see what happens. Now, I may decide to shift gears, which is totally fine, but I would have dedicated myself to something, better or worse, and just go from there. Number 8, give up the cheap dopamine. Focus on improving myself, and know that by upgrading myself, I'm still going to be getting that dopamine. Okay, so for definition's sake, I define dopamine as the reward chemical in the brain when you do something. Oftentimes, people can take shortcuts to get that dopamine, such as eat sugar, play video games, etc., instead of doing the things that require more effort. For example, exercising, studying hard to pass an exam. You get the idea. So going back in time, I would have given up all these short-term dopamine rewards for things that would have really upgraded my life. Before we get to point number 9, if you haven't already, can you please make sure to like and subscribe? It helps boost this video in the algorithm and more likely to deliver this message to somebody that needs to hear it. Number 9, only take the advice from people if they have the results that I want, and be wary of what I see on social media. Too oftentimes, people are just flat out broke on social media, but they can scrap together enough money to rent out a sports car, hire a professional photographer, and paint the illusion that they're rich. I don't want to take financial advice from them. I want to take financial advice from somebody that is wealthy, that has walked the walk, can give me step-by-step guide as to what I need to do so that I can try to emulate it and get to the same place. At the same time, I also want to be wary of asking family and friends if they're not in that position. Because even though logically it could sound like a great plan, if I actually execute it, I may be missing a few steps and that could really put me on the wrong path. So this doesn't only apply to the financial aspect, but it applies to pretty much any aspect in life. And lastly, speak my truth. Don't assume I know how things will play out. In the past, I didn't want to say certain things. I thought it'd be catastrophic and there was just no benefit. Yeah, as time progressed, I noticed that it was weighing heavily on my mind and it was just causing so many more indirect problems. And that's why I did the unthinkable. I voiced out everything. I started by voicing out just like my general thoughts and feelings to my closest friends, and I was also expressing things to my romantic partner. And here was my thought process. If the best sports players in the world have coaches that help them out, then why shouldn't I have somebody that can help me double check what I'm thinking and feeling? And you know what? I'm super glad that I did. This technique allowed me to verbalize my feelings, get feedback whether it's normal or do I need to start looking at things in a new light. So that does it for my top 10 things that I wish I knew in my 20s. What was your favorite item on the list? Did I miss anything? Make sure to comment below. And also, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.